video here recently, but what's the point? If it's just checking things off the to-do list, if it's just getting that new thing on our shopping list, or that thing that we think might give us a certain level of status in life, whatever that might be, a job, or like these things that are a part of our ego identity. Not that any of that's wrong. Again, it's part of our characters of life, and it can be fun until it's not. But if we're not getting that inner hum, that note that makes life feel really good, it begins to feel like there is no point. It begins to feel like we're just checking the boxes and we're tallying up these minor things, and we're not like really getting the juice out of life. Hello. I thought I'd come to you from outer space today because, to be quite honest, I'm feeling incredibly cosmic. And I like it because down here on the ground in everyday reality, the mushy mundane, it gets tricky. It gets tricky. And I always notice, now I live in the Northern Hemisphere and I live in an area where it gets cold in the winter, not invariably cold. That's why I live a little south of where I was born, but it gets cold. The trees get bare. And I've even considered that part of the reason that we as humanity have created all these holiday things is because there's a little bit of us that wants to escape it all. The cold, the needing to go internal and to stay warm. And it's really easy when it's super short days and really a lot of demands, but not as much time to complete them. It's really easy to get a little grumpy. They did not make Scrooge or the Grinch out of nowhere. Like, tell me, do you ever get really grumpy about all of these expectations? And it is not just the holidays. It's the expectations of trying to maintain or even to win at the game of life. And this little thing that I've been saying lately is, even when I'm winning at the game of life, I'm losing. Because even if I'm doing the things, eating the healthy food, paying the bills, even if I'm doing work I love, even if I'm contributing to society in ways that feel satisfying, there's just this thing that's missing if that's all we're doing. And it's that higher frequency, that's the heart frequency, that is actually so incredibly satisfying. And the game of life doesn't give any points for that. But the experience of life really isn't satisfying unless we're tuning into that heart frequency and we're experiencing that glow. Sometimes we stumble on it. Sometimes we find ourselves swooped up in a moment and everything's just happens to be just right. And we get a hint of it. But what I notice is that if we're not really intentional about aligning ourselves with that higher frequency, with that heart frequency, if we're not tuned in intentionally, it'll just slip through our fingers really quickly. So my intention for the next 8 to 12 weeks is to really make the most important thing that I'm doing every day on my list of things that I'm going to accomplish, to make sure I'm attending to my frequency. And call that self-care, but I think that word gets overused so much that we're like, self-care, I don't know, what is that? I ate breakfast, I had my water, I walked, like I did the things. Yay, do all the things that are on the self-care list. But again, sometimes that just feels like moving the little piece on the game board and like winning at the game of life, but it's not hitting the notes that really feel good, that give that desire to wake up each morning. And I've actually been thinking about this question. What's the point? I may have said it in another video here recently, but what's the point? If it's just checking things off the to-do list, if it's just getting that new thing on our shopping list, or that thing that we think might give us a certain level of status in life, whatever that might be, a job, or like these things that are a part of our ego identity. Not that any of that's wrong. Again, it's part of our characters of life, and it can be fun until it's not. But if we're not getting that inner hum, that note that makes life feel really good, it begins to feel like there is no point. It begins to feel like we're just checking the boxes and we're tallying up these minor things, and we're not really getting the juice out of life. So I'm curious, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Like really feeling, not just, okay, I did all my things, I was a little exhausted, then I got some good sleep, oh yeah, this coffee tastes so good this morning. I'm here. But like, if you were to slow down and take a deep breath and say, how am I? What's going on? Is there anything you need? Is there anything that you even just want that maybe you don't even want to tell yourself that you want? Because if you tell yourself that you want it and you're not sure how to experience it or create it in your life, what's that going to mean? It's going to mean there's a truth moment within us, and we can't unknow that truth. And now we realize there's something that we're longing for. But maybe that's a moment when we can say, okay, if I'm really real with myself, I am longing for that. And I'm going to put time and energy and my frequency in sync with that so that I can experience the more incredible and extraordinary things in this ordinary life. For me, one of the things that I've realized is I didn't listen to music as much this year. Yet I hashtag all the time that I'm living for the music. And I was like, oh yeah, that music playing for me helps me tune up my frequency. And it's a vitamin music. I need more vitamin music in my life, because when I get in sync with that frequency that the music activates within me, then I'm able to really pay attention to the extraordinary things that I want to do in life. And I'm not just checking off the boxes. So maybe you want to join me in looking a little more closely at what it is that brings that heart frequency online, and put more time and attention there. For me, it's going to be the first thing I think about in the morning for a little while now, to make sure that I'm staying elevated above this third dimensional duality reality, so I can rebuild a reality above it, one that has more subtle tones of deeper satisfaction, more connection to everything, more connection to the infinite being that I am, more connection to the stars and the cosmos. All right, lots of love. Take care of yourself. And here's to bumping our frequency up just a little bit.